Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, across the country, around the world. Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. And we're launching right away, well, with a time lapse, of a Delta launch vehicle with an Agena target vehicle that we're going to send into space. It is unmanned, it is a probe, and it is what they used in the Gemini project to dock with. And that's what we're going to do in this episode. So again, yeah, a Delta launch vehicle with the Agena docking target. And then we'll be launching Gemini VIII up to meet it and dock with it in just a bit. Side note, for those of you who watch regularly, not that there are many of you, but I apologize for the delay in episode releases. I actually recorded this a week and some change ago, but then I was sick and work was busy. And then this last weekend Solo came out and I was distracted with that. And I hadn't even gotten back to the computer until today. So yeah, here we go, back to at least doing this episode, and we'll see when I get back to actually playing the game. I think another day or two. But yeah, we are taking this guy into orbit, and I'm doing things. I'm flying things. Yeah, I'm flying things a little more like Kerbalized, like the way they would in Kerbal. Well, the way I normally do in Kerbal Space Program, where you launch into orbit, and then do a maneuver node and burn prograde at the node. Whereas historically, I'm pretty sure these guys would have just burnt and had the right trajectory and stuff to get into orbit with one burn. They did not really have things, motors and engines and things that they trusted all that well to what's it called? To, words are hard, to stop and then reignite again. But that's what we're doing in this, at this point in the game, just because it's a little bit easier. Although they might have actually, I maybe take it back. From what I've read online, the Gemini project, in some ways, not that this is a Gemini rocket, this is Atlas, but in a Gemini rocket, in some ways, especially the capsule, was a bit more advanced than an Apollo rocket because of when they actually started, when the quote technology was frozen in, and things like that. Right, and here we are launching, I think it's Jeb and Bill, it looks like, maybe Bob, I can't read, on the Titan rocket. I'm enjoying using these, I think I've said it before, I'm enjoying using these. The two rockets at the bottom are kind of fun, and they're fairly robust. They can do a fair amount, a little wobbly there, that's more my flying than anything else. Yeah, we're gonna get these guys into orbit. I think I put them in a higher orbit? I can't remember. We'll get to that in a minute or so when we catch up to me in the past, when I actually recorded this a week and some change ago. There we go, ditch the lower stage, and then we burn nicely with this upper stage to get ourselves into a nice orbit. And again, like I said, I could do it to where we're burning more, quote, correctly like they used to, but at this stage in the game and whatnot, it's just a little bit easier to do it this way with maneuver nodes and whatnot. Plus, that's how you do it in the game. Poof, there we go. Burning up, and I think, did I miss that one a little late? No, I was okay on this one, I think. After this, you'll see a bunch of fat fingering and messing up with things, but we're going to get this guy into orbit, and I think will be initially, it looks like, oh, those are pretty close matching orbits. We're slightly higher, so it's going to take a while to catch up, but I think I fixed that, and we're going to deal with that here in just a moment. And here's going to be the end of the time lapse, and I give you me from the past. Alright, so we are now in orbit with Gemini VIII. And yeah, I could have planned that better. I could have done it better. Our orbit is only slightly higher than theirs. Only by a few kilometers, 90, 80. So over time, they will slowly catch up to us. Slowly. There's a teensy bit more Delta V left in the Titan II. in the Gemini 8. But I need to use that to enact the rendezvous. Right now, the relative velocity is... Oh, that's its velocity. Let's see. There's no intercept, so there's no relative velocity at all. It's probably not too much because our orbits are so similar. I think what I'm going to do is actually... we're going to quick save. And we are going to actually switch to the docking target. And it has tons of fuel in it. This whole thing is full of fuel. I didn't even need it yet. I think, yeah. Because this has more fuel, this is what we're going to utilize a little more. Honestly, as long as you can orchestrate a rendezvous, it doesn't matter. I imagine this was a static element back in the day, but we can do things differently because it's a game. So, right now, the intersections are going to be really far apart. They're not going to happen. They're going to be, you know, a third of the way around the planet from it. So, we are going to raise the apoapsis here a bit. If, let's see, 84 and 90. Let's raise this to about 120. And then that should help. Let's see that. Yes, that is activated. So if I... Yes, it's working. So wherever we are, if we start thrusting, it becomes our new periapsis. We're going to push our apoapsis up to 120. You can see it there. You can also see it here. And... Good. And there it looks like, oh, look, intercept. Except that's intercept 1, intercept 2. That doesn't count. And then... If we time warp, we can't do too much because we're close to the atmosphere. They're close to the surface of the planet. But if we warp over here and do some things, how's your power? Your charge is still doing okay. Whoop. And I went past the apoapsis just a teensy bit. We'll raise our periapsis up to about 120 as well. Whoop. 119, 121. Good. So now, and that's actually beneficial because as of right now, the docking target is ahead of the Titan II, Gemini 8. Gemini 8. So this one, the Gemini, will actually be orbiting faster than the probe. So that's good. We should be able to accelerate and slowly see them getting closer. Slowly. Okay. So it's going to take a long time doing it here, unfortunately. Power is okay. I'm not terribly worried yet. I think what I want to do, yeah, what I'm going to do, actually, let's do it this way, to the tracking station. It's still, you know, in the real Kerbal time, so it's not like we're leaving it alone forever. We'll focus on you. Ish. So we're going to watch. We're going to time warp here because we can warp faster in the tracking station than we can when we're in situ with the vehicles. There, that already is one tick faster than, you know, when we're controlling them. And one more. Eek! That's a little scary. Another orbit. Okay, this is getting closer. Okay, so that's probably good. Let's take control of the docking target again and see if we can arrange an encounter in this next orbit. How's your power? Still fine. It didn't register as using any. Fun. Right. So, there we are, and our target's going to catch up to us shortly. If we were to, say, burn retrograde a bit to get down to that orbit. Ah! There we go. 10.7 kilometers. Let's bring all that up, I guess. Ooh, nope. No, I don't know what I just clicked on. Let's get rid of that. Hold on. Something weird happened. I clicked on the wrong thing. So retrograde and encounter. 8.9. Whoop. There we go. This is what I wanted to click on. 9. If I do it sooner, it gets it closer. Nope, then it goes away. Can I retrograde a little more? Nope. So 8 kilometers is the closest we're going to get for the moment. But again, we can... Yeah. That burn's coming up in 2 minutes. Are our orbits matching? Not exactly. We just saw our ascending node. We're off by a degree. Ooh, and our speed increases, though. Don't like that. Oh, yeah, that makes it more steeper. All right, descending node, sorry. Nope. We want those to be close to 0. Okay, what's our intercept distance here? 13? Aw. Shoot. Oh. Okay, 7.5. That's decent. That's coming up in a minute and a half. Let's point this bad boy toward that node. Eek. Whoa, come on. Yeah, that node is kind of out in the middle of, well, it's near to normal. That's what a lot of this was correcting to match our planes. And that'll make, in theory, arranging a rendezvous a bit simpler. Let's turn you off. I don't need you there. Okay, let's warp just a little bit. Eek. Ah, too far. That's fine. We can still do it. And cancel. So 9.8. Retrograde a little more. Oh. 6.3. No. 6.2. Okay, that's progress. I can't hardly even see that. 6.3, 6.2. We're going to hit this node in like a minute, though. Whoop. 5.9. So we just slowly bring it down. Again, if I had paid more attention instead of just launching when I built the thing, this would have been... I could have arranged this to be much neater. I usually kind of brute force my rendezvous like this. What's that distance? Oh my god, I can barely see it. 5.9. Yeah, that text, this text, I think when you highlight it, it should be, when you right click it, it should be bold and bright like that. It shouldn't be this faded thing, because it's really kind of hard to see. Whoop, that wasn't the right thing to click on. .0, that's interesting. That's good. Ooh. Ah. 3.5. Whoa. That node's coming up, like, right now. We're going to do this really gentle-like. .6. 3.6. 3.7. 3.8. 3.9. 3.8. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. 3.9. Nope. 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 Ooh, 1.2. That's progress. Ah, ooh, oh. That's awkward. That's going to cause us to re-enter the atmosphere. But I bet you to match orbits, we'll obviously have to burn prograde a little more, and that'll put us back in a safe place. 0.6 kilometers. I'm good with that. We shall go with that. And then, again, we'll be able to burn to match orbits, and that'll keep us from entering the atmosphere again. Not concerned. I mean, I'm a little concerned, but it's not going to be the end of the world. Still plenty of electric charge. Ooh, ah. Oh, I can't wait to start using MechJeb for this stuff. Do I have? I have Maneuver Planner, but we're still doing it manually here because that's truer to the nature, I think, of the Gemini projects. 0.6 kilometers. Okay, I am okay with that. We're going to quick save there. At this point, let's just warp to here. So there's a decent difference in velocity here, although it's going to shrink down as we get closer. So target, retrograde, relative, which is going to be somewhat a prograde burn. We'll be in a few minutes. Oh yeah, we're still a little bit out of kilter as far as our planes go. Excuse me. All right, we're going to start killing some of that relative velocity. All right, now we're slowly drifting toward it. Ish. Let's find the target itself. Oops, should be that way somewhere. Yep, there it is. We'll give it just a poof of thrust toward the target so we can get going in that direction. Whoa, hey. Point at the thing. Point at the thing. There you go. There we go. So now we're going toward it. Eek. Let's slow ourselves down, though, so we don't bump into it. That would be bad. And originally, in the Gemini VIII project, Gemini VIII flight, the docking was successful. However, a thruster malfunction on the Gemini VIII itself sent things into a tumble. They had to undock right away, and actually, they had to do the first emergency landing of a manned U.S. space mission. So I'm just going to get to probably under 500 meters distance, and then we'll switch and have the actual pilot's Jeb take over, and we will rendezvous with this guy. Okay, so now we are fairly close to each other. Let's see if I press the bracket button. Aha! I switched to this one. Awesome. So it's up there. Oh, about that way. That way. Yes, there it is. There, it's slowly drifting away from us. But, actually, at this point, we don't need the lower stage, so we can go ahead and jettison that. I don't know why you're there. Because it's just floats that we don't need. Everything is just RCS thrusters. Whoa. Responsive. Poof, 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 poof. Ooh, we're closing a little quickly there, I suppose. Oh, not too bad. 2.4 meters per second. That's not too bad at all. So we're going to drift up next to it. like we did in the last episode where we rendezvous. We got, you know, the two vessels almost kissed. But we'll get right up there, right up next to it, and align ourselves for docking. And there are a few different techniques and ways to do docking. When I get more options with regards to what's it called? With regards to controls, like what you can click on and have Jebediah help you with here, you can point both of them prograde, retrograde, something like that. You can, or prograde, retrograde. Prograde, retrograde is good. I like normal and anti-normal because, you know, up and down will be constant. The radial in, radial out, that changes depending on what radial of the planet you're on. So that kind of rotates around as you go. That's a little more annoying. But normal, anti-normal is what I like to point once I've got a little more utility in the game. Okay, let's time warp just a little bit. To closest distance. Eek! Don't shoot past, don't shoot past. That would be bad. So we're going to get up close, and then I believe this one is drifting past us. Or it's pointing upward. Yeah, they're both almost oriented the same way. So let's see. You are targeted the core. Set that as the target. So it's a little bit of a different position. But we are pointed at it. We can switch over to this guy. And tell you to... Ooh, can I get to the Titan? Where is it? There it is. This might not work out that well. Ah. Let's stay... Nope, not you. You. We might actually be able to do this just old school without reorienting this one, which is probably, again, truer to the way things were done in the Gemini project. Flights, in the Gemini flights. So, let's see, which way is which? Nope, I don't want that. Let's put you that way. That way I'm oriented in something that makes sense. That doesn't make a lot of sense, actually. One more rotation. Yeah, I can work with that. So we're going to skim by it, which is fine. And we're going to swing around and point our nose toward that docking port. Hopefully get ourselves lined up to it and come in. I wish I had the docking port alignment mods, but none of them are updated to work with this version of Kerbal, sadly. At this point, I'm not even looking at this, really. I'm looking pretty much mostly at the nav ball and keeping it pointed there. There we go. So now that that's there, we can just line that up. And if all three of these guys are aligned, we should slowly come into dock. Oh! Oh, that's unfortunate. So there is some magnetism between the two. Oh, no, that way. That way. No, no, that way. That way, that way, that way. Yeah, I just swung next to it and they pulled each other and swung each other around. So that was a little bit awkward. And not really what I wanted to see happen. No, that way. Now I am watching the relative motion of these two here. On the original Agena docking vessels targets, they had kind of a cone that kind of helped guide the nose in. Here I'm doing it. They're both kind of proud and standing out. I don't have that as an option. Okay, so we're going to stop our drift that way. And that way. We're more or less pointing at each other. Eek. We are not quite squared up to each other. Wow. Those are so touchy. That's a little bit crazy. I have a lot of respect for the gentlemen of that was the wrong thing to press. The gentlemen of the Gemini project, that they were able to do this with very little computer aid. Alright, so we're going to try that again. Third time's the charm, right? So right now we're pointed at each other, but not all that well. Here's where I can switch to the Agena docking target, set that as the target, and point this guy at that. That might make things a little bit easier on me. This is a little bit cheaty. But again, it might help just a bit more. I've got a lot of thrust power in these RCS thrusters too, so it's a little aggressive. There we go. Hopefully this will be better. We're coming in a little bit straighter. We're not coming in sideways like I was last time. I'm actually not going to touch it. Not going to make any corrections. Hopefully we're just going just slow enough. Just slow down just a little bit. Just slow enough that the magnets find each other, suck together, and we have an actual docking seal. Come on, come on, come on. Like that. Come on, do it, do it. Yes! We now have docking of Gemini VIII and the Agena target docking vessel. Again, at this point, there was a thruster that went out of control on the Gemini, and there was no way to recover from that, whereas this, everything kind of fixes itself. Well, it was a bad tumble, and there was no way to correct for it. Something like this. Although Jeb looks to be happy. Oh yeah, milestone. First docking. Constructed the first station. Yeah. So again, they docked, but at this point, they were in a tumble, and it wasn't good. So we are going to... Well, let's just finish it out. Let's have them undock and return to Kerbin, because that's, this tumble is a bad thing. No, can't undock with that one. You. There we go, undock. Alright, so we are orbital. Let's turn some stability on. Let's turn retrograde because the pilots can take over now. And again, kind of an emergency landing. Wherever we are, we're just going to start burning somewhat retrograde. Oop, RCS. Thrust, thrust, thrust. Maybe we'll land by the Space Center. I don't know. We'll get the trajectories mod going here in a minute. How much RCS monopropellant do we have left? Yeah, not much. And I'm using monopropellant because it's there, because I can. It's not the correct way to do it, but it's the way I'm doing it. And we're going to set that X right in the middle of this thing. Oh, did I use up all the monopropellant? I did. In that case, then, we can ditch that stage, right? That's you. Yes. Goodbye, service module, and a lot of my power, but this will survive just fine. We can activate that engine, that little bitty, what is it, the spark? Yeah, the spark. And we can burn just a touch more to get that like I said, that cross in the middle of the water here. I also have plenty of fuel that left that I can't do anything with, but it's there. And that'll do. At that point, we can also eject that stage. And these guys can return to Kerbin. We're going to put them just up like that because it's fun. And we can time warp, encounter the atmosphere, and get these guys down to the surface. And again, this should be a splashdown, right? Yeah, this should be a splashdown, I think. I hope. The trajectories mod is nice because it gives you, you know, to let you know, oh, nope, you're going to be in the atmosphere there. You're going to come down. What this says is not necessarily correct. Look at all that debris that I'm just leaving behind. Right, let's time warp, or physics warp at this point. Sorry. In, out, in, out. Make up your mind. Hyman. We are coming for you. We are. Yeah, so even with the trajectories mod, this is slowly creeping back. Oh, there's the KSC sticking out into the water, because there it goes, because the terrain wasn't drawn quite correctly. Here's re-entry effects. Curious to see, there it is, there's the plume. Interesting. We're going, we're still physics warped, but we're not going crazy fast. We're not hitting the atmosphere that quickly. We're coming in at a good angle, so I don't have any concerns about running the game at this speed. Yeah. We'll be fine. And in another few moments, we'll actually be out of the flaming. There it is. I mean, as far as parachutes are concerned, they're good to go now. We'll wait till we get down to about 5,000. 5 kilometers, 5,000 meters, I suppose, yes. Which will be coming up soon. How are you doing for power? Yep, good. Stage destroyed. Boo. And 5 kilometers. Activate the parachutes. And they'll gradually slow us down. And then once we get to a lower altitude, they will fully deploy, break us, and, well, you'll see the G-forces go up, so it does kind of look like it's going to break you. Ugh. Always feels like they deploy really late. Ugh. Oh, yeah, that was ridiculous amount of G-forces. And then we sedately drop down into the ocean. We can jettison you, bye-bye, which makes us drop even slower, which isn't actually great for this stuff. And there we go, splashdown coming up of the Gemini VIII mission with a successful, even if it was momentarily successful, docking to the Agena docking target. We'll do, I think, 1, maybe 2 more of the Gemini project missions, because they do a little more docking, and they utilize the Agena space probe to maneuver, to add fuel, because it had a bunch of fuel in it. Oop, splash, and we're down. Ta-da! We can recover these guys and move on to Gemini 9. Yeah, there's a 9, a 10, an 11, and a 12. I'm just reading up what it is. More EVAs, more docking with things. Gemini 11, sorry, they set an apogee, in this game an apoapsis, of 739 nautical miles, which is 1,369 kilometers. They're using the Agena docking target's fuel. And there we go. So that's it for Gemini 8. And successful rendezvous and docking in orbit. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, pass the word. I will catch you later.